So here we go. This is the ballot for the original series that will happen on this channel. As we all know, or at least should know, providing that we've all seen the last video, which I hope you guys have. If not, oh well, you missed out. Still up if you want to go see it. But that's completely irrelevant right now, so here we go. I'm going to list off all 6 of the ideas I have for the original series on this channel, and then you guys will, in the comments, vote for which one you want. Now watch till the end of the video, of course, because in order to make your votes count, you need to do something in your comments. But I won't tell you what until the end. Oh no, you have to watch my entire video. That was weird. Okay, so, here we go. These are my ideas for the original series to have on this channel. Real quick, I should say that what the format will be like is my typical audio-only stuff, only instead of doing the narration, like blah 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 does blah 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 blah, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to add sound effects and stuff, so it's basically like the audio of a show, whether it be cartoon or live action or anything else. And while putting the narration text on the screen, while there are sound effects. That way, it's a little more professional, it's a little bit better. And also, yes, all of these will need additional voice actors, presumably. I haven't gotten too far into the casting, obviously, as I cannot plan too far ahead, but I'm pretty sure all of these are going to need voice actors. Do not audition until I have picked a show. Or not I have, until you have, because it's you guys that are picking it. And if you ever want to audition for anything else, just private message me. Now I've made you wait too long, here we go. Show idea number 1. We Are the Viziers. Genre, character-driven comedy. In a far-off kingdom, a tyrannical ruler reigns supreme. He's cruel, he's unjust, and he has the mind of a 7-year-old spoiled child. His 3 advisors have had enough of this, and spend every moment trying to take the throne. One's a gruff and stubborn genius, one's an arrogant megalomaniac, and the other is a cheery and optimistic klutz. The 3 of them team up to come up with wacky schemes to ensure the kingdom's safety and to take power. However, they must be careful as the captain of the guard is onto them, and is doing all that she can to expose their treachery. First of all, the genre, character-driven comedy. Character-driven comedy is basically a show where all the comedy comes from the characters interacting off each other. In order to do that, the characters need to be very well developed and they need to have a lot of dimensions, so that when they get to talk to people, there's a lot of jokes. Animaniacs did this a lot, and also some stuff from Batman the Animated Series when the villains would talk to each other. It's that kind of humor. There's a lot of personalities bouncing off each other, and a lot of zany schemes. So this is kind of how Poketown would have been, or whatever you want to call it. That's kind of what this would have been. So I guess think The Simpsons meets Poketown meets Pinky and the Brain. And it's that kind of stuff. The 3 advisors will constantly be going on these crazy adventures trying to get the crown, all while trying to maintain their reputation because, you can't let the public know this, and also trying to ward off that pesky captain of the guard. So if you're interested in this one, vote for We Are the Viziers. That's Viziers. That's an Arabic/Northern African term for vice king, essentially. That's what Joseph was in the Bible. But this takes place in Europe, so yeah. Show number 2, Light and Dark. Genre, slice of life. We all know about our light sides and dark sides who always try to influence our behavior. However, Miles can actually see and talk to his light and dark sides. His light side seeks out to protect him and make sure that he stays on his intended path. His dark side wants to have him disregard this path and ultimately destroy his life. Miles goes about his day-to-day life constantly in the middle of this never-ending battle between these 2 sides. Will he be successful, or will he be destroyed? Well, the only way to find out is to vote for this one and have it get picked. So this is the token serious one in this one. There is going to be some comedy in here, but it's mostly going to be kind of story-driven. In it being about this kid who obviously has the 2 sides trying to influence him, one of them being appointed by the high-ups to protect him and make sure that he does well, because eventually this kid's supposedly going to go off and do these great things and be this great humanitarian person to help, so that's why the people, down there, appoint someone really, really bad to try to sway him off of that. So it's that kind of struggle. Both of these sides know what he's going to do, however, Miles himself does not. And that's not a spoiler, that's an intricate part of the show. So it's just going to be about him kind of living his life, and then talking to these 2 people, and having them constantly fight over his life. And it sounds a little typical at first, but as things go on, the stakes start raising a bit as he gets a little bit older, gets more opportunities, and of course as the enemy starts getting a bit more aggressive. It's not a directly Christian show, I have to make that clear. It just has some elements of that kind of theology in it. It is a show that everyone could watch and presumably everyone could like. So, if this one interests you, pick light and dark. Number 3, Morgan's Manor. Genre, dark comedy. Here we go. Harriet is fresh out of college, has a dead-end job, and has a lot of stress. No longer able to pay the rent, she is thrown out of her apartment. Down on her luck, she finds an ad for a boarding house. Upon arriving there, she finds that there's something very off about the place. Its reclusive owner lets her stay for minimal money, provides free meals for all the tenants, and accepts her on the spot. This strange and reclusive man claims to collect broken souls, and says that Harriet is going to fit right in. Then there's a matter of the other tenants. There's an anger-prone Russian wrestler, a ditzy peppy valley girl, a sadistic ex-doctor who wants to find the most painful form of torture in the world, a genre-breaking, fast-talking secret agent who never seems to take anything seriously, a nature-loving hippie, a nearly emotionless genius, and an old man who has no idea who he is. Harriet and her newfound friends try to make it through life, all while going through crazy adventures both inside and outside the house. So for those of you who wanted me to try a little bit more of an adult one, this is it. It's not going to be like super adult, like I said, no foul language or any of that, but it's kind of the same adult that, again, Alan Gregory was. Just the mature themes and some of what the characters do and all that. I mean, the sadistic ex-doctor specifically, that one's definitely, you wouldn't find him in a kid's show now, would you? Would you? The answer is no. Basically, like I said, it is kind of a dark comedy. There's going to be a lot of more adult humor along that lines. It's also kind of a character-driven comedy as well, but not so much as We Are the Viziers before it. And yes, there's going to be a lot of dark elements to it, an interesting storyline that goes on through it, many subplots. If you want to see Morgan's Manor, vote for it. Otherwise, pick something else. Number 4, Mr. Scams. Genre, general comedy. Who is he? Nobody knows. Where does he come from? It's a mystery. All anyone knows about him is what he wants. Cash and lots of it. This man, nicknamed Mr. Scams, goes around the country trying to do what else? Scamming people. He uses his cunning nature to sell the most useless junk to any of the uninformed people he comes across. Cardboard boxes disguised as time machines, diet programs that make you gain weight, literal garbage, and much, much more. However, he needs to be careful, as he may not get off as scot-free as he thinks. Now, this is a general comedy one, because this is what we call umbrella comedy, where it engulfs basically all kinds of comedy. And it's going to be kind of a simpler show. It's just this guy going around trying to scam people while trying to evade the law, very clearly, as it states right here. This one's definitely going to have a lot smaller of a cast out of all the other shows, but it's also one of those Robot Jones type shows where, because the premise is just so vague, there's a lot of opportunities for it. You could just put him in any state and any sort of experience, and you can just make an episode off of that. It's one of those. He's this greedy guy who tries to go around scamming people, making all these useless things, and then finding a bit more about himself as he goes along, and slowly makes friends and enemies. So, if this sounds interesting to you, vote for Mr. Scams. Number 5, Starland. Genre, fantasy. And no, this is not a Lord of the Rings knockoff. Far from it, actually. Wendy Hobbs has a pretty rotten life. An aggressive father, a busybody mother, 2 siblings who don't care about her at all, and no friends. Nothing seems to go right for her. She wishes for a better life, and one night, it happens. Something falls from the sky and lands in her yard. What is it? A door to another world. A world that's built the way she wants. A world where everyone loves her. A world where everyone wants to help her out with her problems. There's a set of pseudo-parents and their neighbors. A wacky, music-loving inventor, an adventurous action woman, and a babbling goofball. With this new world, Wendy is ready to have a new series of adventures in this new world, and also in her regular world, when these people try to interfere with her life over there. Now, this is, I guess, a half-serious, half-comedy show. It's kind of one of those slice-of-life comedies, so I guess mix the styles of both Life and Dark and We Are the Viziers, both comedy and serious stories. As you can tell, the home life is definitely not good for her, but when she goes to this place, she finally feels happy and she finally feels at home. They're able to support her and make her feel better, although the world is definitely not like the real world at all. It's crazy, it's insane, there's so many mystical things going on. And it's also kind of a coming-of-age story, as throughout the series we're going to see the Wendy character develop and grow as a person, as well as even the people in her world And the people in this Starland, as it's called, will also grow and develop. It's kind of a comedy slice of life, I suppose, with a lot of fantasy elements. So, if this is your cup of tea, vote for Starland. And finally, number 6, Doomsday Machines. Genre, adventure/comedy. In other words, an adventure comedy. An adventure-comedy. That's not a word. A mad scientist is working on his master plan, using a robot army to destroy the world. But something goes wrong. 4 of his most powerful robots have gained self-aware natures. They realize that they're going to be used to eradicate all of mankind, so they escape. And now they're on the run. Along the way, they need to overcome their creator's pursuit to get them back, the military trying to destroy them, and each other. I think that's kind of a basic thing right there. There's got a lot of adventure with these robots trying to go around, trying to save their lives from all these things, interacting with the characters not getting along, and it's also got a lot of comedic elements. So a comedic adventure, it's simple as that. So, if you want Doomsday Machines, go ahead and pick it. Now here's how to vote. Once again, you can pick 2. You can pick which 2 you want most. They don't have to be in any specific order, just whichever ones you want to see the most. If you want to see the descriptions again for them, I have attached a link in the description that'll send you to the voter's guide, which basically is just the written description that I gave before I started explaining it more willy-nilly and off the cuff. Yes, I scripted that. Sue me. Don't sue me. I don't have enough money to get sued. Please don't do that. So you can pick 2. You can pick 2, like I said. You need to put down the name of the show as well as a reason why you'd want it to be picked. And like I've said in the previous one, it can only be 1 sentence. It can be more if you want. Usually the more thorough answers are the ones I tend to like better. And who knows, maybe if they're like really, really well thought out, I might just share them in the results video. Wink, 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 wink. And don't let that dissuade you. They can also be, it sounds cool or it sounds good. Although those might not get mentioned in a previous video. Wink, 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 wink. And then also put in the signal phrase, I want to live in Moose Lake. M-O-O-S-E, Lake. You know that town that VeggieTales always raving about? That one. Remember, I want to live in Moose Lake. If it doesn't have that in there, it doesn't get counted. Okay, guys, vote away. Polls close on March 17th. I hope you guys are ready. Here we go.